Counselor, we've got a problem.
The shipment, it's gone.
I had a call from our business partners. These people are out 20 mil.
They think we're all involved, don't they?
No, just you, Counselor. You. They don't believe in coincidences. They've heard of them. They've just never seen one.
You're in trouble.
It's kind of a love story on one side of it, and then on the other side we have the temptation and seduction that the counsellor is dealing with in terms of the world and the clients that he represents. And I think he starts to want their lifestyle, and we're on the border between Mexico and the US, and most of us know that there's a couple of serious drug cartels down there in operation. In fact, he already is involved in some shady dealings when we meet him. He's driving a Bentley. We see him purchase a diamond that probably costs about $300,000. So we know all of this is outside the means and wages of a counsellor. So that's when things get sticky. What do you do with the money?
Mine goes offshore. We can talk about it if you like, but you can't use my people.
All right.
Okay. What else? You seem unsettled.
I'm all right.
If you're not in, you need to tell me.
Why?
Because you don't know someone until you know what they want. I can't advise you, Counselor.
Well, you are advising me.
Somebody called me and said, there's a script coming from Cormac McCarthy. And I said, who? Cormac McCarthy? Wow. And get it round to me. And so I took it very seriously. I literally stopped everything that morning and sat there and read it. So I'd read it by about 10:30 or 11, called the office saying, where is he now? And how soon can I meet him? So I met him, I think, on the Sunday, 36 hours later. That was it. I knew I had to move quick because I didn't want it to get out and about, because these things, you know, once it's printed and goes into some office, somebody runs it off somewhere. You got to jump.
I read the first scene of the movie and I was blown away, and I thought, wow, if this is the level of every scene, this is amazing. And it was like that. I kept reading, and every scene is like 15 pages long, full of very, very brilliant dialogue, and that gives the actors really an opportunity to do something with that material. There is no rush, there is no formula, you know, it's just every scene you can travel, you can start in a place and have a time for a transition and for things to happen to end somewhere completely different, and that's rare.
It was very exciting to have those scenes in your hands, knowing that, for example, when I read some scenes, like the car scene, Malkina having fun with my car, I wanted to play that scene. I said, I need to say those lines. I thought they were brilliant. That's a gift for any actor to feel that like that. So yes, it was challenging in terms of preparing the dialogue, especially when you are not an English speaker. But also it was very rewarding when you were acting in front of, in my case, Cameron and Michael Fassbender. Those are the ones that I interact with. Amazing actors, great people. It was fun.
It's a classic tragedy structure that Cormac has written here. There's almost, elements of destiny, predestined sort of path that he's going to be on. And again, we have lots of sort of sages or people sort of giving him advice to, beware of what could happen. And of course, he doesn't heed that advice.
You should be careful what you wish for. You might not get it.
So you learn to read material in an uncompromising way. And I'm going through it, and if it starts to get really good by about, whose hands are in within about, honestly, 2 pages. Then you get anxious after about half an hour, thinking, damn, I hope you can keep this up. So in the comics thing, I was really anxious after it took me about an hour and a half to read. About after an hour, I was kind of perspiring with anxiety that he wasn't going to drop the ball, and he didn't.
You either have a great script or you have almost 0 chances of making a good movie, or being able to do a good performance or to create something interesting. Everything has to be there on the page, or adios. It doesn't happen.
Does the priest ever ask you about sex?
He doesn't ask, but you're supposed to tell him everything.
Suppose you've done something like really nasty. He doesn't press you for the details? I don't think so. You're blushing. Oh. Just rattling your cage. What a world. You think the world is strange? I meant yours.
Ridley won't do more than 2 takes, and he will shoot the whole scene in 1 shot. And we're talking about 9, 10, 11 pages scenes. Don't get scared. They're fine. Don't worry. But then he will go and cover in tight shots and blah blah blah. But it's like theater play. It's like, okay, are we ready? Let's go. Let's do it. And everybody's like really paying attention to that because there's no room to lose track.
When they walk on the set, I'll know exactly how I want the scene to go, but I do not want them to rehearse. I will explain the movement, let the scene happen just to give them a play at getting through it, where I know I'll never use anything but the walk-in, so they're getting the cobwebs off it. Then I move in, went to medium and tight position. You never compromise the light. And I say, right, we're going to shoot. And we shoot.
We did a few read-throughs, you know, with the whole cast on separate groups because most of the scenes are duos. So really took a lot of meetings like with me and Michael and Brad and Michael and Javier, and Cameron Javier, all the combinations. And I liked working that way because I thought it was better also for this movie not to rehearse everything, just to go through it and talk about it as much as we needed to and then just do it on that day on the set.
He's always in there shaping. He's, I think, you know, very inclusive with the actors and allows them to, you know, sometimes sort of, you know, in a way he'll question like what's happening in the scene. If he feels like the scene sort of needs work, he'll go to his actors and say, what do you guys think? And he's a very intelligent man, but he's not pretentious. So his notes can be used and they're palpable.
He owns your performance. He owns your direct. I mean, he owns you in a way that you don't feel it, but he always takes you to the place that he wants, giving you the freedom to discover that by yourself.
What are you going to use for money?
I've got some money.
I don't think so. If you had any serious money, you wouldn't be this jackpot in the first place.
I might.
Ah, yeah? Well, I know why I'm in it. Do you?
Sure, same as you, greed.
Yeah. Now you got in trouble. You got in trouble. I tried to appeal to your greed 2 years ago. No deal. Now it's too late. It's too late.
What do you think I should do?
I don't know, Counselor. I don't know.
Working with people at such a high standard, you don't have to discuss much, you know, before you go in. You allow it to happen in the scene, and you know that you trust each other to respond, and nobody's going to be put out because you threw something at them without telling them. I like that. That's when acting, for me, is at its best and most exciting and fun. When you're forced to sort of react, you're provoking each other, you're testing each other, but you're supporting each other. And so that was great. I mean, Penelope in the scene when I was proposing to her was just like blew me away that day, and I really didn't have to do anything except just respond to what she was giving me.
Will you?
Yes, I will.
I've seen that scene so many times in movies or read about it or, you know, friends that told you about how it was for them that moment. But I knew if it was real, then it would be original, no matter how many times we've seen it. It's not like you can press a button and then it happens. But that day, we were happy with the result because we were really living that moment.
I intend to love you until I die.
Me first.
Of what the movie talks about, in my opinion, which is the statement of in this world we're living in, we cannot play naive anymore. I mean, when we are being naive and we don't want to see things, though that blindness or that I don't want to see things is going to create a lot of pain and harm to many people. So that, along with the lack of glamour in the violence, made me feel like that's something that I want to say in a movie like this. And he said it. I mean, the author, McCarthy, said it, wrote it, and really put it together beautifully. So it's a movie with, yes, there is violence, but there is no glamour in that violence, and there's no glamour in those characters that produce that violence.